Howdy, friends and family. Thank you so much for joining me. This is week 12, day 3 in the series that I'm doing with Christ Memorial Lutheran Church about knowing God. And this week we are talking about how the Lord fights for us. Now, a couple of weeks ago, when I was talking about how the Lord is our banner, I said that when we follow Jesus into battle, there is victory. And today I want to answer the question, why is there victory with Jesus? And the answer is because he is the most powerful. Now, first, to look at this, we want to turn to Job. And in Job is talking with his friends, and they are constantly questioning God's power and telling Job that he should just curse God and die because his life is so terrible. And eventually, God steps into the conversation and tells them how powerful he actually is. And he talks of his power to create and run the world and how he has power over every being. And he actually does this for several chapters from Job 38 to Job 41. And Job's response starts in Job 42, and we're reading verses 1 through 2, which say, "Then Job replied to the Lord, I know that you can do anything, and no plan of yours can be thwarted." So Job is acknowledging God's omnipotence. And this word omnipotent can be broken into two parts. The first part, omni, meaning all, and the second part, potent, meaning powerful. So God is all powerful. And Job is acknowledging this by saying that no plan of his can be thwarted. We see this happening again in Acts chapter 5 when the apostles are preaching about Jesus and the Jewish leaders want him to stop. And eventually one of the Jewish leaders, Gamaliel, steps in and says, hey, we shouldn't be fighting against this. Let's just let them run their course because if this is human, then they're just going to die out anyway. And in verses 38 and 39, he says, "For if this plan or this work is of human origin, it will fail. But if it is of God, you will not be able to overthrow them. You may even be found fighting against God." So Gamaliel is also acknowledging, as Job did, that anything God fights for is going to have victory because he is so powerful. And when we talked about the Lord as our banner, we also talked about the spiritual battle and the spiritual victory that Jesus will have over sin, death, and the devil. And we see this in Revelation chapter 19, verses 11 through 16, and chapter 20, verse 10, which say, "Then I saw heaven opened, and there was a white horse. Its rider is called Faithful and True, and he judges and makes war with justice. His eyes were like a fiery flame, and many crowns were on his head. He had a name written that no one knows except himself. He wore a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. The armies that were in heaven followed him on white horses, wearing pure white linen. A sharp sword came from his mouth, so that he might strike the nations with it. He will rule them with an iron rod. He will also trample the winepress of the fierce anger of God, the Almighty. And he has a name written on his robe and on his thigh, King of Kings and Lord of Lords." And chapter 20, verse 10 says, "The devil who deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever." So in these three passages, we see people acknowledging God's power, but also we see this powerful being, this King of Kings and Lord of Lords, who leads the armies into battle and then fights. We see him actually winning and destroying sin, death, and the devil, throwing that into the lake of fire for all of eternity. Jesus is all powerful, and because of that, when he fights for something, we know there will be victory. Nothing can stop what he is fighting for. So know that if you follow Jesus, your banner, into battle, then Yahweh Sabaoth, the all-powerful, omnipotent one, will be fighting for you, and there will be victory. And that in this final battle with the devil, he will win. So if you're memorizing Psalm 46, verse 7, this is your reminder to do that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.